Following two such esteemed and good speakers, I'm very nervous. But as a millennial in the boardroom, I will try my best to address our topic. So, I'm sure it has happened countless of times before. In many boardrooms, a young person enters a room and presides over a meeting that includes older, experienced managers whose eyebrows are raised by skepticism. She's too young for this, or I'm not sure she can do this, or maybe they're indecisive or they're quite fickle. I believe this to be true because I have experienced this at many points in my life, at university, during my master's, and even as I first conducted business meetings in Vistaland. I know that some people had apprehensions regarding my ability to lead and manage. And I am guessing this scenario will play out in increasing frequency as the millennials start to outnumber the baby boomers and the Gen Xers in the workplace and in the boardroom. The world is experiencing a demographic shift and it is being felt everywhere, in politics, in society, and in business. And of course, the Philippines is no exception. According to the government's population projections, this year, the millennials will comprise 68% of our total population. That means 7 out of 10 Filipinos are millennials. And this is also true with regard to the Philippine labor force, where millennials now outnumber the Gen Xers 46 to 40%, so about half of our workforce is below 34 years old. This means that the workplace is changing with the entry of young people with different values and expectations, with new worldviews and unconventional ways of doing things. I should know, as recently I learned that Vistaland and our subsidiaries like All Value outpaces most Philippine companies in terms of hiring a younger workforce, with over 90% of our employees in the millennial age group and almost 20% of that same group in senior decision-making managerial positions or higher. Without a doubt, the millennial generation will soon become movers and shapers of not just my company, but of our world. Not only have they become the largest chunk of our work, of course, with my own opinions and what I have learned. Of course, with strengths of millennials, there are also some challenges, like millennials are less afraid to make mistakes. Note that this is different from being risk-averse. They know that they are well-equipped to mitigate risks. If you didn't know it, there's always Google. Thus, they are more confident when it comes to bringing ideas to the table and executing them. This doesn't necessarily mean we have a gung-ho attitude due to the research we actually do, but we are unafraid to dive in due to confidence by reading about it. Also, boredom usually gets the better of millennials. Being infinite learners, we are marked, or we tend to get bored before mastery. And again, as a function of access to information and options available to us, millennials are experts in the art of sprints, creating tools and events such as hackathons and javelin boards. Basically, they like to move fast, and what they must learn is to slow things down and run the course, or last in a marathon. Also, and most importantly, millennials despise the feeling of being caged in or boxed in. Given their obsession with sprints, time is the millennials' true currency. Boxing them into pigeonholes of the past makes them feel like their time is being wasted, especially when they perceive their efficiency is put at risk. Instill in them discipline, but allow them to teach themselves responsibility. In our organization, we have kind of addressed this by being more output-driven rather than giving our employees a 9-to-5 schedule or asking them to follow that. So what we do is we give assignments and due dates, and regardless of how they accomplish it, we just expect them
have it completed by that given time. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the same kind of policy adopted by many startup companies in Silicon Valley. So what is the boardroom of the future? Let us not forget that Gen Xers and some of the baby boomers are still in our organizations. And this fact brings to surface the need of our organizations to develop the ability to manage the relationships across generations. I truly believe we have achieved all that we have achieved through finding and constantly striving to maintain a proper balance in the management of our organization. With the changes in generational leaders across the industries, the tides of the war in the corporate world constantly shift. So in order to maintain balance in today's modern yet chaotic workplace, emotional intelligence is key. Seek millennials who may not necessarily have the highest grades, but have high levels of emotional intelligence. This will enable you and your team to create a culture of mutual trust and respect in which mistakes may occur, but rewards will be greater. At the end of the day, whatever happens, one thing must remain constant. Learn, learn, learn. And so, in the future, we envision the boardroom at Vista Land, at All Value, and maybe in other companies, to be an enhanced version of the current one we have today. One with a culture of collaboration and openness. We have an organization that is more flat, flexible, and learning-centered. Also, the post-millennial generation, or the Generation Zs, are also beginning to enter the workforce. When that time comes, I envision a workplace where millennials are able to lead the charge with less of the prejudice and more of the openness to evolution. The board of the future is one where leaders seek to empower rather than overpower. And so the question is asked, are we ready for the millennial shifts in our workplace? Is your boardroom ready for the millennials? In the case of Vista Land and All Value, yes, my answer is yes, I believe that we are. First and foremost, and most importantly, because we are a company with a very strong set of values ingrained in our culture and our people. We are not in a tech industry. Vista Land has been around for 40 years, and our company culture has lasted through that. Our company values like hard work, bias for action, teamwork, honesty, competitive spirit, closeness to consumers. These are the things that we ingrain in our people and embed in our culture. And these are essential for success. That was true in the past, 40 years ago, it is true now, and it will be relevant 20 years from now. It is these core values of our company, coupled with the dynamism of millennials and an openness to change, that I believe will ensure the success of Vista Land in the future. Our boardroom today, or our boardroom in the future, is probably one that has moved from a bureaucratic and more structured setup to one that is more flat, one that allows ideas from everyone, regardless of position or age or experience, to percolate, and is designed to be open and collaborative. Ultimately, as a millennial in the boardroom, I'd like to say that I'm confident to move forward and to lead my company during these times and for the next few decades, armed with the wisdom and advice that my father, our founder, and mentors have taught me about management and business, along with my life experiences, what I have learned in school, in books, and the information that I still learn today from information technology. Taking these and combining them with the dynamism, ideas, and passion of the millennials I work with today, I am so excited to see what the future holds for us. And I have no doubt that we can continue to break boundaries, disrupt the norm, and achieve success for generations to come. Thank you.